parents really know best. This week, the Prime Minister announced a further clampdown on families whose kids miss school. Going on holiday in term time is already forbidden, of course, and the number of parents fined for flouting the rules is soaring. Here's Paul Baltrop.
On the streets of Swindon, it's not hard to find parents unhappy with the present laws.
Disgusting.
It is disgusting.
Because every holiday park that you want to go to in this country, or even when you want to go abroad, all the prices are inflated.
Secondary school, I could understand that, but I think it's a bit harsh for children in primary school.
I think it's wrong, really, when holiday prices and tour operators are charging a hell of a lot of money more for you to have some time with your children. So we've made the decision to take the fine and pay the fines.
She's one of a growing number being penalised. Courts like these have seen a big increase in parents being prosecuted for kids missing school, but most cases are dealt with by what are called fixed penalty fines of £60. But whether you get one depends a lot on where you live. In the 2013-14 academic year, Swindon sent out 1,166. That's the most in the West. Contrast that with the 30 issued in Dorset. Nationally, the number of fines nearly doubled in a year. Now another court is involved. A test case this week went to the High Court. Noah Myers was fined for taking his sons out of school for 3 days. He contends that breaches human rights legislation.
For the state to interfere in family life, in this case, they need to be able to demonstrate that it had an educational impact. And in this case, we don't believe that they have.
Following developments with dismay are campaigners concerned about standards in education.
I think they honestly are abusing the system, and some of them are just doing it because, the travel is more expensive during the holiday times. Well, we know it, that's the way it is. We expect the teachers to be there for our children. We've got to get our children there. Schools
used to have more leeway. Head teachers could allow parents to take children out for up to 10 days. Then, 2 years ago, the government got tough. It's only allowed in exceptional circumstances. At this Gloucester primary school, they try to avoid friction.
We try to work really closely with our parents to make sure that if there is a really valid, exceptional circumstance for that child to be out of school, that they're able to talk to either myself or my pastoral manager, and we can see what we can do about that absence.
Our children's prospects always play big in the political arena.
Good afternoon, conference.
At the Lib Dem conference, there was a plea for the rules to be relaxed.
To do that, it has to start listening to parents properly and not continue this relentless disengagement of parents from the education system.
But this week, the ruling Conservatives went the other way, signalling a tougher approach to parents who break the rules.
Turning up to school is the first step to a successful future.
Whatever they do, parents may be out of pocket, either paying more to holiday at peak times or going in term time and paying a fine.
Very interesting. Well, Karen, we saw you there in the film. Why are you campaigning against these fines? Children should go to school.
Absolutely. We're not saying that there should be a free-for-all attendance. All we're saying is, can we please go back to the situation before September 2013, where head teachers had more discretion and only 0.1% of recorded school sessions were missed. What you're talking about here is about the cheap holidays, but we're also finding, or affordable holidays, but what we're also finding is that parents are being taken to court, for instance, because they've taken their children to grandfather's memorial service, or because the child is about to be about to go through an operation.
They're going to be exceptional circumstances.
Well, you would think so, but it's not. That's not what's happening on the ground. You see, that's the problem. Is that parents are getting fined in those situations. I mean, I can give you a long list of cases like that.
Simon.
I think this is all about putting education at the heart of what makes a child go on to become a young adult and then go on to the world of work. It's about, I think, helping to set the mindset that education is important, and I think what the Prime Minister and the Education Secretary announced this week is absolutely the right policy. We cannot have circumstances whereby people just willy-nilly take children out of school for a whole life.
This is
not willy-nilly, what you're saying.
Exactly, it's not willy-nilly. You know, children are going out for a whole range of different reasons, and the idea that the only place in which education happens is in school is a misnomer. You know, children learn an awful lot by going on holiday. They have an awful lot of value that they get out of family time. And what you have to remember is that modern life has moved on somewhat since the 1950s. parents don't always have a say in when they take their holiday. So the police, paramedics, bus drivers, all sorts of people have said to us,
so you are saying it's about holidays, it's not just grandpa's funeral.
It's the whole range. It's about saying, can we have a constructive
Right, so it's not just those exceptional cases that you're talking about.
I think that's an extraordinary position. It's not that long ago that the Lib Dems were urging us to put an extra penny ring-fenced on income tax for educational purposes. So important is education. I think, okay, yes, holiday prices do go up in the school holidays, but that's a very long period of time. I think I'm a parent of 3 young children myself. I think you find ways of having that holiday that, yes, meets your budget and your pocket, but also doesn't damage your children. And it's not. It's,
can I just talk to you about the evidence around? Can I just talk about the evidence about it damaging education? The Department for Education did some research in 2011, and actually it states categorically in that research that absence has an impact on attainment, but it depends on what the reason for the absence is. And it categorically states that there is no evidence to show that there is any impact on attainment for reasons of absence due to authorised family holiday, religious observance or study leave.
So that is in there. But shouldn't families be aware of the value of public services? The taxpayer is paying for that child's education, and therefore the least you can do is to make sure they turn up.
The assumption that parents are taking their children out of school because they are completely and utterly reckless as to their children's education.
But you just said that you think holiday is a good enough reason, you've said.
In certain circumstances, I'm saying we're not asking for a free-for-all. I'm saying, can we go back, please, for a situation where it's a discussion, a grown-up discussion between the head teachers and the parents, not this blanket ban, not this sort of assumption that parents are being...
No, because I think it was being abused. I mean, the last time I looked...
where's the evidence? There is evidence.
The last time I looked, summer holidays last on average 6 weeks. Now, if you can't find a time where working parents and the children can have simultaneously time off to go on holiday, but it's not just the education. It's not just the education attainment, which I think is the important point to remember. It's also about starting to instill from a very young age a mindset that turning up, that doing what you're supposed to do is important. It's certainly not. No, it's not the nanny state. This is putting education front and centre.
I'm ringing the bell. This lesson's over. Thank you. Now, if you were writing a novel, imagine one of your characters being